We all know him, the big guy on Fox News with an even bigger opinion of just about anything and everything under the sun. As one of the regular panelists on Gutfeld, Tyrus sure came a long way from being Snoop Dogg's bodyguard to an NWA champion to where he is currently at today. As relatively successful as he is at present, even Tyrus had his fair share of struggles. In fact, in today's video, we'll discuss this heartbreaking news for Tyrus, revealing a more vulnerable side that many have not seen before. So stay tuned for more. Known for being one of Fox News' contributors and panelists on Gutfeld, Tyrus was born as George Murdoch. He is a former professional wrestler and best-selling author, most known for sharing political and social commentary on Gutfeld. A hulking man towering at 6'7", he worked a variety of jobs and even became Snoop Dogg's bodyguard at one point before transitioning into wrestling, then on to media. Despite the fame and everything good that came with it, this heartbreaking news for Tyrus almost broke him. Each of us has experienced one or more things we regret in life, whether they're decisions we made and didn't take or just simply poor life choices. For Fox News contributor Tyrus, the heartbreaking news that cast a shadow on his life was when he got entangled with his co-host over his alleged sending of lewd text messages to her. Back then, Tyrus was working side by side with Britt McHenry at Fox News' subscription streaming service, Fox Nation. Together, they were the hosts of UnPC, and it was then that Tyrus allegedly sent a couple of indecent text messages to his co-host. "Just pull out now, why don't you? Just grin and bear it," was one of the alleged messages, and another was where he wrote, "Keep being negative, and I'll send you another dick pic." As soon as this issue broke out, Tyrus was quietly removed from the semi-weekly show UnPC. The next time the show was on, McHenry was seen hosting alongside Tom Shillue, with no explanation of Tyrus's absence. The latter never returned to the show, and Shillue became McHenry's companion from there onwards. In June 2019, McHenry reported Tyrus's indecent behavior to the network, claiming harassment against the former pro wrestling champion. "I love the fact you're always working. If we ever had I feel like after an orgasm you say, speaking of feeling good, did you see the story on the puppy rescue? We should do a segment on it, hand me my phone," was one of the messages he allegedly sent to McHenry between November 2018 and January 2019. In reply, McHenry only wrote, "Ha ha ha ha." Some were quick to jump to her defense, saying that women often employ humor as a way to deal with harassment and as a means to change the subject. According to sources, McHenry became distraught about this growing concern of hers and shared the disturbing text messages with a few of her trusted friends, asking for advice on how to handle the situation. On the condition that their identities remain hidden, some of her friends spoke to HuffPost, revealing that the news journalist has not given them the green light to speak to any reporter at all. It didn't take long for the issue to reach the front page, until, ultimately, Fox News had to address it. While we are not at liberty to discuss the details of any employee matter, we follow strict protocols when matters such as these are brought to our attention, and we make no exceptions, Fox News said in a statement. "The process works because of the extensive systems and measures we have instituted. This situation was independently investigated, and we consider the matter resolved. We respect the confidentiality of all involved," or so they said. Despite this official statement, it only opened a can of worms, which highlights the unquestionable instances of inappropriate workplace behavior. Ultimately, Fox Nation decided to separate Tyrus and McHenry, with the former awarded his own show titled "Nuff Said," while McHenry continued to host UnPC with Tom Shillue. What's even more glaring is Fox News' obvious bias toward the former wrestler, promoting his show on the official Instagram account of Fox Nation 3 times, whereas UnPC was only promoted once. An insider familiar with the internal management told HuffPost that Britt McHenry does not have a permanent co-host for UNPC at the time, hence the bare promotion. Additionally, the said insider claimed that back then, the team running Fox Nation's Instagram account was waiting for her co-host to be finalized. Tyrus, on the other hand, already had a brand new show with assets, which explains why they advertised his show more. This whole messy fiasco and internal proceedings only highlighted how Fox News handles its HR resource issue. Ever since Fox News founder Rupert Murdoch succeeded Chairman and CEO Roger Ailes Internal trouble has been a constant issue within the network. The change in leadership also required the HR director for Fox News to report to Fox Corporation, the parent company. So when a Fox News employee is accused of misconduct, an outside law firm is tapped to oversee the investigations, while the said employee is normally suspended pending investigation. That should be the SOP. But lo and behold, multiple sources claim that Tyrus was not suspended while his conduct was being investigated, much to the shock of Fox News sources. One insider even revealed that suspensions are determined on a case-by-case basis, and that they follow the recommendation of the outside independent investigators. As the victim, it was obviously frustrating on Britt McHenry's end to witness all of these, seeing how there's no decent action being taken, which ultimately led her to do something that shook Tyrus's core. Months after Fox News stated they had investigated the matter of Britt McHenry's complaint against her co-host, McHenry went and filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against Fox News, including her co-host, along with a few executives. Before this, the news journalist had also filed a formal complaint with the New York State Division of Human Rights in October of the same year. In a statement, McHenry expressed how filing this lawsuit was the last thing she wanted to do, but said she had to stand up for what's right, for herself and for women. As a result of her treatment by defendants, Miss McHenry has suffered humiliation, emotional anguish, derailment of her career, and significant loss of economic opportunities, the suit claims. Furthermore, it also pointed out how McHenry has been effectively frozen out by Fox News management. The lawsuit lasted for months, and then, in July 2021, it was eventually dropped by the parties involved. Both McHenry and Fox News filed a joint stipulation to dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning the claims cannot be refiled. However, there was no public information available on whether they settled or if any money changed hands. Additionally, a part of the resolution, Britt McHenry also parted ways with Fox News. Tom Clare, Tyrus's attorney, shared how his client is pleased with how things went, citing how the former wrestler continues to dispute and deny the allegations made against him in the lawsuit. Tyrus's wife, Ingrid Murdoch, shared her thoughts about the case a year later in one of her videos on TikTok back in December 2022. She opened up about how the lawsuit, the trauma, and their family endured at the time was too much to even share. However, she also highlighted that the silver lining that came out of that struggle is that Tyrus became an even stronger leader for his family. As for McHenry, she told CNN how she was proud to have stood up for her rights and can only hope that she empowered other women to do the same. Britt McHenry's lawsuit against Tyrus and Fox News may have caused distress to all involved parties, but it also shone a light on Fox News' internal affairs, also prompting the media to dig into Tyrus's background. What they discovered was quite a shock. During a guest appearance on the Sage Steele show back in 2024, Tyrus openly admitted that he accidentally fathered 3 kids at once and had gotten 3 women pregnant within a span of a few months. At the time, Tyrus and his wife were having trouble and could not conceive a child. For Tyrus, he believed that he was the one who was infertile, then went ahead and met with 3 different women, thinking that he can do whatever he wanted because he couldn't father children. Unfortunately for him, the 3 women he got into relationships with all got pregnant. As shocking and somewhat disappointing as this was for him, Tyrus didn't shy away from what he did. The reality of having children in that way is that you need to figure it out real quick, and you need to make a decision as to where you're going to man up and take on this responsibility, Tyrus said on the Sage Steele show. Now, all of my children's bellies are always full. They all have roofs over their heads, and they all can do any activity they want to do. Since he's a public figure, Tyrus also does his best to keep his children's lives out of the spotlight, although he's been very open about sharing his parenting values, the first of which is respect. Suffice it to say, Tyrus does his best to be a better person and an even better husband and father to his family. A year after he proposed to his then-fiancée, Ingrid Rink, they welcomed their first child together, a daughter named Georgie, in 2014. Tyrus also took his 3 children from his previous relationships, along with his partner's sons from her previous marriage. Together, they have a blended family, which worked pretty well for them, with everyone getting along. Tyrus authored his own memoir, but made it a point not to include his kids in his books. The reason for this is simply that it's a story for them to tell. Although he often joked a lot about how 3 of his children are of the same age, the former pro wrestler also acknowledges that someday his kids may have questions and angers later on in life, which he will take responsibility for. He planned to tell them how he didn't have parenting growing up, but knows that it's not an excuse for the choices he made all those years ago. For now, their blended family is busy raising the family's farm animals. The Murdochs relocated to a farm in New Jersey and a home to the Tyrus Zoo. Before his wife relocated to the place, Tyrus's wife had a talk with the children, assigning them tasks to help raise the animals. Some of the animals in Tyrus Zoo include snakes, exotic fish, lizards, turtles, and even chameleons. Their daughter Georgie is tasked with playing with and bathing the animals, while Ingrid's son Rhett is in charge of heavy lifting and doing the dirty work, with his girlfriend also helping in keeping the tanks and cages clean. Seeing how happy the former wrestler and Gutfeld panelist is living right now, one could say that he deserves all the good things life has to offer him. Still, it doesn't erase the fact that Tyrus has one too many scandals attached to his name. However, if you take a moment to know where he came from, you may understand why he's the way he is right now. In 2017, Tyrus sat down with the CelebrityCafe.com's Michelle Tompkins to talk about his personal and professional life. Here, he opened up about his childhood and discussed how his formative years affected him growing up. In the interview, Tyrus began by relaying how his mother had him when she was 15, while his biological father was around 19 or so. His mother was white, while his dad was black, adding that the latter was not a very good person. She survived a couple of years of abuse and stuff, Tyrus said of his mother. And once he had turned it on me, that's what gave her the courage to get away from him. From there, Tyrus shared how his mother moved back to her parents' home. His grandparents on his mother's side wanted their daughter to go to school, but Tyrus's mother didn't believe she could juggle school while raising him and his brother at the same time. Ultimately, Tyrus and his brother went to what basically amounts to a foster family for a few years. Because of their sacrifice, Tyrus's mother was able to attend and graduate from nursing school before relocating to California, with her children following soon after. Besides moving around a lot as a child, Tyrus has also experienced racism at a young age, given how his maternal grandparents refused to take him and his brother because they were half black. I moved around a lot and was all over California. Wherever she had a job, that's where we went, he recalled at the time. She worked nights, so we didn't get a lot of nighttime with her and stuff like that, and eventually she remarried but did not get along with her choice of husband. Eventually, after a couple of years of being smacked around, I got tired of it, and at 16, I beat him up and left home. From there, Tyrus said he never bothered to look back, focused on graduating high school, and got himself a football scholarship. Tyrus attended Antelope Valley College for junior college, and then later transferred to the University of Nebraska at Kearney. For a while, Tyrus played football, but his career in the sport was stopped abruptly after he suffered a freak injury. My appendix ruptured, and I had to get emergency surgery and had some nerve endings cut that went down into my left leg, so I never really quite got it all the way back, he explained. He could still play, but during this time, he also realized that his heart really wasn't into the sport. Instead, he started substitute teaching special needs at level 14 in California. Simply put, these kids were delayed because their mother was addicted to crack or in. During the day, he thought about these kids, and at night, he worked hard as a bouncer at clubs to make ends meet. On top of teaching and working as a bouncer, Tyrus also revealed how he worked practically every job out there to support himself ever since he left home. His first job involved working at the back of the kitchen at restaurants, and he even stacked cans at Walmart at one point, on top of his usual gig of bouncing nightclubs, sports, and parks and recs. He also had his hand in construction, and even did stand-up comedy. Literally done it all, always had a job, he told the Celebrity News Cafe. Not that great at relationships, but always had a job. As for his wrestling career, Tyrus said it started the same way as bodyguarding got started. Back then, Tyrus was busy running a restaurant in Universal Studios, California called Saddle Ranch Chop Shop when Tommy Dreamer, the head of the WWE talent relations back then, brought some talent with him to go to the club. As fate would have it, a fight broke out among the talents, with the boys fighting over a girl who had already left. Tyrus, who had seen it all, was in a good mood, given that he was a big wrestling fan. And so I told the guy to give them breaks, and if they just go about their business, I'd let them stay in the club, he recalled of the fiasco. From there, he remembered one of the guys hit him, but because the latter was much smaller than Tyrus, he ended up hitting the future pro wrestler in the chest. Tyrus looks at them, then, before clunking both guys' heads together, picks them up by the back of their pants and throws them out of the club. Tommy Dean, who witnessed everything that transpired, thought it was the greatest thing he ever saw. Months later, Dean called Tyrus, inviting him for a tryout, and the rest was history. Tyrus had a fairly successful run as a pro wrestler and went by different ring names. His most famous one is Brodus Clay, which he got from Snoop Dogg's real name, Calvin Broadus. When he debuted in the ring, he went by the titles G-Rilla, as well as Monstrous BC. He used the name Tyrus while wrestling for Total Nonstop Action, TNA, and the National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, until his retirement. During his wrestling career, Tyrus gained popularity for his notable gimmicks. There's the Funkasaurus, a fun-loving identity he took on at the WWE back in 2012, claiming that he came from Planet Funk. On top of this, he also has a few nicknames, such as the Mastodon of Mayhem, the Main Event Playa, and the world's biggest suplex machine. Like all good things, Tyrus's wrestling career also ended in 2023, following a match at NWA 75. And no, he did not suffer from any injuries or ailments. In fact, he was even feeling his best. The reason he decided to retire from wrestling is to be more present with his family. Tyrus said back then how he was missing games and horseback riding events. So one day he talked to his kids and asked if they preferred him to be with them at games or if he should continue wrestling. He recalled how his children looked him dead in the eye and, without missing a beat, told him that they wanted him at the games, thus wrapping up his wrestling career. True to his word, Tyrus consistently shows up for his kids and even vowed to always be there for them. During a guest appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored back in 2024, he opened up about how one of his kids is in the LGBT community and that they are trans. As she's growing, we'll see where she's at and what she wants to do, he said during the guesting. Whatever she wants at the end of the day, when she's old enough to make that decision, I'll be there with her, or him, or whatever my child wants to be.